Hello, welcome. So we're here tonight with Tammy and Bo Taylor, and we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about your favorite topic, right? Brenna.
Yeah, Brenna.
Easy one.
Easy.
Right? You know.
Lots to talk about.
You know all the answers to this one. But welcome. So let's talk a little bit about your family first. So first thing I want to ask you is just tell us about the family, the two of you. Does Brenna have siblings? Where do you live? Do you have pets? Just tell us about yourselves.
We live in Voorhees, and Brenna has two siblings, Abby and Zach. They're both freshmen, and she has a pet, Bentley.
What's it? Pet what?
Dog.
How old?
He's a small dog, so he's 4.
Yeah.
He's 4.
So
He's barely.
He's her favorite person in the house, basically.
He's in the prime.
He's, yes.
Yeah.
Is he a yapper?
If only if somebody's at the door.
Yes.
Other than that,
He's
he's
pretty
pretty
cool.
quiet and he might sleep most of the
Uh-huh.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's pretty good as far as small dogs go.
Gotcha. Okay. Describe Brenna's personality. Your words.
I would say that Brenna is warm, compassionate. I think she's very resilient. I think what a lot of people don't know about her is that she's very light and airy and sort of happy. Underneath that, there's a lot of strength.
Mhm.
She's got good character, a lot of, she's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's a goalie.
She's a bully, yes.
You know what? That's a good.
Quirky.
Yeah, but you're right. That calm up top and that desire burning underneath. So that's a good analogy. What makes Brenna happy?
Beatles records.
Mhm. Yes, music makes her happy.
Really?
She really likes music. She likes vinyl. So she's eclectic. She's cool that way. Sleep makes her happy.
Nobody in the kitchen at 1 a.m.
Right, so she can raid the fridge.
Yeah. All.
Her friends, she loves to be with her friends. She loves people. So
Mm-hmm. Now, did she know the girl, the senior class? Did she know those girls before she transferred in?
she transferred in as a sophomore, and she did play with some of them in club
Mhm.
and in town. She played in the Medford League, so she knew Lexi and she knew Aaron and Drew, and
Mm-hmm.
so.
So it wasn't
Wasn't a total,
Right.
right. It was a huge transition
Yeah.
though for her.
Well, it's like any kid that goes there.
Yeah.
Whether he goes a freshman or sophomore, there are no cliques. They don't exist. Well, her a little bit, but as freshmen, they don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm sure Zach and Abby found that out this year,
Yeah.
right?
It's very open.
Yeah.
Very welcoming.
Mhm. What's her pet peeve?
If you wake her in the morning, don't touch her. Could get violent quickly. That's her pet peeve.
It's a goalie reaction.
It's a goalie reaction. She's very quick with her hands.
You're nodding your head over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She doesn't like mornings.
she's not a morning person.
Mornings, the whole morning thing's a pet peeve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's better than a lot of the other answers I got was like anything I do. Like anything I do makes
Oh
my
no,
food.
she's really fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not that fun.
She pretends to like us anyway.
Oh,
She does a nice
let-
job
that's
with
all you-
that.
that's all you
It's
can ask for.
I don't mind. Works.
What's the one thing that you do that makes her roll her eyes?
I would say the constant text me when you get there and yelling out the door as she's walking to her car, random instructions.
Mhm.
Don't follow too close, watch the wet leaves,
I think it should be what doesn't make her roll her eyes.
pretty much.
Yeah. Is she 17 or 18?
She is 17, she'll be 18 December 28th,
So she's been driving for
almost a full year.
almost a full year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We just get the stalker app. That's how we know where she's
You
at.
know, I heard about that recently at the doctor's office.
Yeah, that's talking.
You can find out where they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Mhm.
If,
That would be interesting.
That's a big pet peeve.
Right.
That would go right to the top of the list.
Right, I would think so.
Yes,
Mhm.
trust me, it does.
Thanks for the tip.
Tell us something she likes to do besides play field hockey. Does she have a hidden talent or a hobby? You hit on one of them at least. I didn't know she was
Yeah.
a vinyl collector.
Yes, and really, really cool vinyl she comes home with. It's nice.
I went in there and I just started going
got a
through
great
and
record
it's
collection.
been added,
Mhm.
the stack
Buffalo
is
Springfield, the Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Springsteen. I saw
Springsteen,
Darkness and I'm
Tottenwell.
like, really? Where did you get Darkness? This is
Mhm.
Yeah, and photography. She's
Like
really,
photography,
she's
yeah.
been into photography since like 6th, 7th grade.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I would say she is incredibly talented.
She's very good.
Naturally,
Yeah.
so.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You got me thinking. It's interesting because I mean, putting out this video, I've looked at a lot of pictures, you know. and
You
it's
should see the
amazing.
NOLA
Yeah.
video she put together. She did a really nice job.
And NOLA
with it.
is
That she went to New Orleans
New
last
Orleans,
summer.
right? I thought that was
Mhm.
right, okay.
Yeah.
So then, did Ashley go on that trip? Oh,
Lexi did. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
Ashley
somebody was
did.
telling me
Lexi
that.
went. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Ashley
had a great
went?
time. No,
Yeah.
Lexi. Oh, Ashley went too.
She said Ashley went.
Yeah.
And Ashley went too, yeah, she was
Yeah.
talking about that a little bit the other night. So she's got a little bit of music bug there, right? I mean, she was talking about the trumpet earlier, right, before we started talking. and-
I would say that Brenna has an ear for music. I don't know about the playing part.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that could change.
Yeah.
Yay.
The trumpet.
It sounds like it's inevitable.
She
She's
could
going
learn
to-
that at her dad's.
She's going to pick up an instrument.
Yeah, I would say
And at
guitar
some
would be
point in
better,
time-
or piano even.
Why the trumpet?
I really don't understand.
It's a goalie
It's not
thing.
one of those things you just sit
This
there
is
and
a
you
Brenna
go,
thing.
Yes, that's a
You
Brenna
just-
thing.
When you
That's
ask
right.
to describe her personality, that describes
Yeah, there
it.
you go.
Coming
What-
home when she's 17 and saying, I want to play the trumpet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This sounds like I have a little, you know, I mean, so you were telling me that Zach decided he wanted to play ice hockey at 12.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
have a
'cause I
little
was-
bit of that
I
adventurous
asked him a
spirit
long
there
time.
going on
He
there,
was open
right?
to do
try
anything.
things.
Yeah.
Brenna and Zach are very
Yeah, they're very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Not blood related, but you wouldn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What was the favorite, or what would she tell you was the best birthday or Christmas gift that she ever got?
Bentley,
The dog.
the dog, she came home.
That's
uh,
my answer.
Yeah.
That's not even
Did I
close.
steal your answer? It's
No,
not
no,
even
it's-
close. Yeah. They
How'd
were at
you-
their dad's Christmas morning one year and they came to our house and the dog was there. I picked
Okay.
him up. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you, how you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Did you have a dog before that?
We had a dog years before that who passed away, so, yeah.
So she was thrilled.
Yeah.
Funniest thing she ever said or did in public that made you want to crawl under a rock?
I would go back to, I guess she was probably 4, and we were in a store, and there was a woman wearing a fur coat. And she asked why the woman was wearing a dog on her back. And the woman was really not happy.
That's what makes it more
And
funny.
said it loud. Oh,
Mhm.
yes. That, and we were in the Macy's in the women's department. And
Mhm.
she was expressive about, some of the undergarments.
Mhm.
And she was running around the store with them. So she's done some really interesting
Mhm.
things that, keep us laughing.
So she, so she's a senior, right? She's a state champion now. She is committed to, she's going to go to Siena, right? So
Yeah.
how does she ride out the rest of her senior year now? What does she do here?
As I start to cry, Brenna needs to ride the rest of her senior year out very intensely on her academics.
Mhm.
She'll play lacrosse. I think she's already struggling with saying goodbye.
Mhm.
She is probably Eustace's biggest advocate.
Mm.
She is a huge fan. So I think she's going to struggle with leaving the school and her friends.
Mhm.
I think that's hard.
And she likes Eustace a little too much.
She's really loves
Yeah,
Eustace.
she loves it.
How big is Siena, student-wise? Do you know ballpark?
About 3,500.
Oh, so it's not huge.
No, we
relative to
knew that
colleges, yeah.
because we had that experience from Eastern to Eustis.
Yeah.
So we knew where she thrived and what kind of an environment, which really, helped.
Mhm.
And she wanted to be in a Catholic college. So it was a great fit.
Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to ask you a little bit about field hockey. So when your girl plays at the level that these girls play at, right? They're a little kid, you run them through activities, other sports, right? And eventually there gets to be a little interest in field hockey, right? And that's a family commitment too, right? If the girl wants to play, you gotta be with it. So tell us about how that's, so when did she show interest? How did you guys know that was what you're gonna do? And
She was probably in 3rd or 4th grade and she played soccer. And she, the focus wasn't really there, so the play would be headed in this direction and she'd be running in this direction.
she
kind
wasn't
of
a
thing.
keeper?
She was not a keeper in
Mhm.
soccer, and I wonder if that would have changed things. So I played field hockey, and they start the kids so much younger than they did when I
Mhm.
played. So
Did you have the bumper sticker? The dream starts here. Does that know what all the kids that lived in Voorhees, Berlin had on their bumpers?
Mhm. Yeah.
Did you own one?
Something like that. I did. Shamefully.
No, I'm gonna tell you that you
It's
bought in. At the time, you
it's
bought
you
in,
buy
just like
in.
she bought into Eustace now.
Yes, you buy in a little bit.
Mhm.
I was always grounded with that.
Mhm.
just because I've always told her not to define herself by any one thing, because if that goes away for whatever reason, then you don't want to struggle with your identity. So you need to just not, you know, not base everything on a sport or anything really.
So I'm sorry, I
stay
took you
true
out.
to
She
who
was
you
in
are.
third grade,
That's
right?
okay.
She was
Yeah.
in third
and
grade.
then, you know, we put her in field hockey, and somebody asked her to play goal, and it was just, she was a natural. Just she's very athletic. She can throw a perfect spiral football. She was great at softball. She's very athletic. So she stepped into goal, and it was a nice fit. Yeah.
She was going
She
right
could
almost
hang- yeah,
from,
right.
from day one.
Pretty much.
The first time I saw her play, I could tell, I mean, she was really pretty new to it, but I've watched sports for a long, long time, and you can usually tell you can tell players that there's just something that draws your eye to them, and they have a certain presence where they know where the play's going. She just knew how to read plays, even on grass and in playing and that. I mean, half the time she'd be standing there waiting for the play down the other end, but when it was time where it would come on, you could tell. She knew, she had instincts that probably can't be taught.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, I think that after she started to get a lot of the learning, all the technical stuff out, I think she was able to put it together the last few years where she was able to use her instincts that she was really good at, along with the stuff that she was taught, and that all the stuff her dad had her in and everything else. So I think that was, you kind of see her put it all together. I think that was fun to watch.
That is fun. It has to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I mean, her journey was a little different in terms of when she entered high school, right? But one of the questions I want to ask you, when she entered high school, what were your expectations? Did you think that this day would be here and you would say that she's a, star goalie on a state champion? You think that thought go through your head? Is that a possibility?
I think so. I think given the environment she walked into in high school, you knew that was probably going to be a winning team. I think we all had very level expectations in terms of where, she would fit into that team environment, and that was fine. I think that what I wanted most when she went into high school, given that situation, was that she just feel as though she's a part of something, and that she feel valued, and not I didn't want her necessarily to learn politics that early in her life, but she did. So I think she took a lot away from that's invaluable in terms of lessons and experience, and the strength that she's shown and the resilience that she's shown is just a testament to her character. So I think it's tremendous. But I just wanted her to not feel that loss of identity, and to understand that regardless of what happens, that she's a part of something. And I think that she got that at Eustis. So I think that take away the state championship, take away all of it, what she walks off the field with at the end of this year it's different for her. And it's been amazing.
So I'm gathering that you guys had decided that she was going to transfer after her freshman year, and it was a matter of where.
What happened was her academics at Eastern were, that was a real struggle, and the environment there was, for me as a parent, a struggle to get through, to get responses from teachers, to...
The largeness of it?
Yes, and I think that if you are really academic at the top, you do great at Eastern. And I think if you're here and you're on some kind of a special program, you do great. But I think if you're somewhere in the middle and you struggle, it's a little bit tough, and I think you just become a number and you're kind of just pushed through. So, it was kind of I beat my head against a wall most of the year with the teachers. And then, so we knew that from an academic standpoint, she needed to transfer. And then it was a matter of where, and I think with he and I having the experience we had.
Catholic school, you mean?
Yeah, I thought that would be a good thing for her, but not necessarily where we went. So Eustis was good, she...
So you looked at some others at the time?
We did, and she had done a visit day at St. Joe's.
In Hamilton?
In 8th grade. There was a parent there that was sending their child to Eastern and felt as though it was probably a better move for Brenna not to be there. So they suggested that the coach call us. So she did her visit day, and
John DeMarco, I went to high school with him, by
Yeah,
the way, yeah.
yeah. You know, and I just think that given the four-year, the percentage of kids that go to a four-year school out of there, it wasn't a good fit.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's interesting.
At the time, I think it was 68%.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
did not know that. You know what, now that you say it, though, I'm not surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
is it that
Yeah,
I
for
grew up there?
for 9,000 a year, I thought.
Yeah,
oh.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the happiest you ever seen her on the field?
I would obviously say state championship game
Mhm.
was the happiest, you know. That was amazing. I think that the Eastern game meant a lot to her.
Mhm.
That was an incredible game.
It was, yeah, it was. I wrote this before they won the state championship, so I kind of knew if they won, that question would kind of be anticlimactic. But it would have, yeah, I mean, thank God we don't have to consider what the answer would have been
Right.
had they not won, but it would have been a
Right.
more interesting question, right?
Yeah.
But it's always nice to think back to that moment, there's no doubt. When they lost in 2015 to Oak Knoll, you know, the minutes ticked down there and you kind of knew what was going to happen. What was going through your mind, you know, finishing your junior year?
As a goalie mom, you know, you just have this pit in your stomach because you just think, oh, how's she going to feel? But I just thought next year will be their year. I didn't have a doubt, really.
That's exactly what we said.
Yeah,
It's
next
like,
year.
okay,
we're
good learning
okay.
experience.
It's a learning
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah.
You know, so.
How did she feel after that game?
Honestly, I think she felt the same way. Again, that's the resilience. I think even after the Eastern game, I think that because of Brenna's, you described her as a free spirit, which is a great description of her. But I think that really what people underestimate is her leadership ability. And I think everybody felt, you could see the girls kind of after that Eastern game, and she just did this goofy dance, and everybody was like, yeah, you know, and I think that,
That's what I'll always remember, not
Yeah.
the state championship. I'll remember that.
I think
The
that's,
Eastern game, Bo?
Yeah, when they scored, and she could have probably blown that girl up, and she didn't. And she was
Friend.
there. She is. She's nice. There's something, you know, there. And it might not have been the right move to blow her up, but anyway, you could see everybody. Nobody expected. It seemed to me that nobody expected to play overtime. Neither team thought they were playing overtime.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting that they played overtime in that game, and I'll just leave that one alone.
Yeah.
I'm not a big High League fan, as you could probably tell. So, watching what goes on there and all the backstory without getting into too much into it, but you could tell the whole team kind of was like, after they scored that goal, they kind of were like looking at Brenna like, is she okay? Is it okay? It was really quiet, and all of a sudden I just remembered her going, yay! Like she, and then everybody was like, it was okay.
That was after we gave the second goal?
Yeah, that was when they lost. in
Oh, the
overtime.
overtime.
So
Yeah,
after
it
the
seemed to be like the whole
overtime,
team
she
came
just
out to
kinda-
see her, and it was kind of like morgue-like, you know? And then all of a
Right.
sudden, she went and looked at them, she goes, yeah! And then they all kind of perked up, and it was
Right.
fine. They wanted to see what her reaction would be, and that to me is, you know,
And for Brenna, that game was,
Yeah.
you know, the demons were gone. So that's
The validation, right? It's a,
It was. There was a certain, and
It was
it's
the way it
not
went
even
on at
about.
Eastern that did
It's
it.
not about Brenna not playing at Eastern. We never
Yeah.
had any expectations that she would.
Yeah. It was a-
It's just the way that things were done there that lacked
class.
right.
And
And
anything
so, I think that game was sort of just for her, it was like, okay, I'm okay.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
there's girls that she knew.
Yeah.
On the team, number 2, they are measuring stick. I mean, love them or hate them, they're
are.
the best in the state, in the country, arguably. So it's got to feel good to play well,
Against
and
them.
she certainly did.
Yeah. So, especially the prior year.
Yeah.
It was like a 10-0
Yeah,
game.
I remember.
So,
Yeah, mhm.
yeah, so.
Not that she had a
But-
chance on Ada, you know. They were point blank. I remember thinking that day. I was
They were
watching the
told
game, and I
before
was-
they
were
got
told
off the bus, you
that they-
scored
you
10
scored
on
10 on
Brenna
Brenna.
or you're running
Yeah,
tomorrow.
well, that was more about, the shots were.
Absolutely.
They were point blank.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were dribblers getting in, we were just getting beat pretty soundly.
Yeah, but our whole team came together this year and they played incredibly well.
Yep.
So let's talk about that then. So, you know, when they won, right?
Mhm.
You know, any parent, your eyes are gonna find your daughter. right? Where is she? What is she? I want to see her reaction. So did you find Brenna?
Oh,
When it happened, what
I
was the
love
reaction?
it. She threw her helmet in the air and she flung her gloves off and she was running down the field and Carrie jumped in her arms
Mhm.
and it was awesome.
Mhm. It was. It was a great moment. Although it was right, nobody knew.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to a bunch of people, but you didn't hear the thud of the ball against the wood because the ball didn't go in that way, which is very unusual, right, in field hockey. But
Yeah, you're just kind of
you're
like,
what?
did that happen?
It was right. Did it happen? Right.
It
Exactly.
happened.
Right.
And then
right.
you saw them we saw the Oaknell girls just kind of
Right.
go, oh my gosh.
Right.
And then you're like,
You knew.
Drew fell down and it was amazing.
It was cool.
So if you could do it all over again, right? The journey from
Ah.
third grade to high school. Would you change anything? What would you do differently?
I don't know that I would change anything. I think that every experience that you face in life prepares you, and as long as you can take something positive from it, then it's a valuable experience.
Mhm.
Whether it's challenging or painful or rewarding or, you know, a state championship or a state loss or any of it, I think is, you know, all the traveling, and I think it's all added to something. And she, I think what she takes away from it is good stuff,
Mhm.
you know? So I don't know that I would change anything. I think I've sat many, many nights and thought, should I have handled things differently her freshman year?
Mhm.
But I don't think so. I think it's okay.
Mhm.
I think sending her to Eustis is the best thing we've ever done. So,
Mhm.
Mhm.
absolutely, hands down.
That's a story they need us to tell people.
And she wouldn't have landed there if it was any different. So I
Right.
think it's amazing.
Mhm.
So
Do, you know, so the next question I'll ask you is it's kind of double-sided for you, right? So, you know, I've been asking some of the other senior parents, I'm like, what would you tell the underclassmen parents, you know, in terms of the journey looking forward, except that your journey with, this phase of your journey with Brenna is over. And she
No,
goes
and I
to a
have
new
3
one.
more years.
But you have 3 more years,
Yeah.
right? So now that you've lived through Brenna and you have Abby coming up, you know, what are you thinking right now in terms of how
Just
to
have
roll with her?
fun. Just have fun.
Mhm.
Don't take it so seriously. And don't place so much weight on field hockey.
Mhm.
And I think, like I said, I mean, I think it's it's a means to an end. If you love it and you're passionate about it and you still have that fire in your belly for it, then you play and you follow through and you enjoy every second.
Mhm.
But the day you wake up and you're not happy anymore doing it, then it's okay. So I think you just tell people to have fun and enjoy it.
Did she
Because
have
I
a
think you
good,
stress it a lot.
did she have a good freshman year, Abby?
She had a great freshman year.
Now she came in right as a freshman, right? So once you had the experience with Brenna, was it kind of a,
Well, now we
Abby's
have
going?
3
Well,
there.
right.
Yeah.
But was it kind of like,
There
that's,
was no question.
so Brenna sold them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If she
When
looked at what you say.
Brenna came into the house her junior year, playing Gathered as One on her iPod and
Mhm.
dancing around, we were like, I said, is that a church song that you're playing and dancing around to? She's like, I love this song. Okay, we're
Mhm.
sold.
Mhm.
She just loves everything about it,
Yeah.
so.
What is the thing that makes you most proud of her?
Her resilience.
Who she is.
But that's what part of being a goalie is. You know, once you score, it's gone. Get to the next play.
Yeah, she, at least from the outside, it looks like that. She
Yeah.
doesn't look like, it doesn't look like it bothered me too much.
Yeah.
Too much, I mean.
Yeah,
Doesn't
somewhere under there it
paralyze her.
does,
Of
but it
course,
doesn't
you don't have
paralyze
any
her.
pride, right? You don't have
Yeah,
any pride if you
yeah,
don't.
Yeah, exactly.
know, but,
I could tell by her body language in the cage when she's bothered and when she's
Mhm.
not, but,
Mhm.
yeah, just, I couldn't be more proud of her,
Mhm.
you know.
There too, she played with great confidence. And, you know, I think I told her this, I don't know if she remembers it in the swirl of one of the, after the games there. But, you know, with my daughter being one of the girls playing in front of her, there was a confidence and there was a swagger that she played with. But I think the 4 sophomores took their cue from, you know, so it was almost, and there was a feeling that, you know, we don't talk I don't talk to Joanna this way, we don't have this conversation. But as a fan, you're watching the game, you're like, my God, I'm like, there were days where you look at Brenna and you're like, it doesn't really matter if one of our sophomores is making a mistake because she's going to erase it, you know? And
The sophomores were incredible in front of her though.
they held their own, there's no doubt.
They did
yeah.
amazing.
But it's, you know, in my opinion, it always started with her. And I would think, I'm like, thank God my daughter, you know, got this experience, but that she got to play in front of a keeper like that because,
Oh, thank
you know, you know, imagine, it's just the other way around. You know, you talk about a goalie's mistakes being magnified. Well, if your goalie isn't as great and you're a young defender on a team that has expectations, right, it could snowball the other way where
Yeah.
your mistakes are magnified because
Yeah.
the goalie isn't nearly as good as what Brenna was this year. So it was a good thing.
That was really nice. Thanks, John.
Of course, the last thing I'll ask you guys is, you know, we get through here with just, you know, final message for Brenna as she finishes this part of her journey. What would you say to her?
Stay true to who you are, and keep your head up. And I mean, I've said a lot that I'd like her to take away in terms of, you know, just remain strong in your convictions and, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Proud of her. Tammy and Bo Taylor, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Mhm.